Rumpier Sports, Strokes Gained Golf Show with Andy Lack, Wiley77 from the Rumpier Sports Studios. What's up, man?
Not much. A little worse for the wear this morning. I'll admit. I got back late last night from a wedding in the Bahamas. Congratulations, Jake and Flora. It was a wonderful 4-day celebration. Let's start the flex count at 2 with Bahamas and friends.
And your shirt. Yeah, go shit. Flex number 3 is the shirt.
Let's hit 3 with the master shirt. We're about a minute in and I'm already at 3. So I would slam the over before you're at the overs at like minus 800 right now.
Yeah, you sound a little raspy. What were you doing?
I don't even booze anymore, but I was still up every night, super late because the friend who got married was my best friend from high school. So, we never see each other anymore. I live in LA. He lives in New York. A bunch of our other high school buddies are all scattered around the country. So it's the first time us all coming together like this in years, maybe 5 years. So we had a great time. It was a beautiful setting for a wedding. Hard to get to, especially if you're coming from the West Coast, but just a gorgeous place, and we had a total blast. So shout out Jake and Flora. He's a bit of a golf guy.
Jake and Flora get one shout out. They don't get 2. That shout out, Jake and Flora, has been removed from the show.
Yeah, that was an extraneous shout out that we're revoking.
Well, this show is brought to you by Aeon Swing, right? Sponsored by the Aeon Swing.
Aeon Swing 5. Yeah, no, I know.
I mean, I was asking how in the world is Kevin Tway in this event, and someone goes, one of our DJs goes, "Oh, it's the Aeon Swing 5."
Yeah.
What's that? Swing with Aeon.
Right? Would you like to respond to Webb Simpson somehow being in the field?
No, it was the first comment. First comment Monday morning at 7 a.m. Someone goes, "Wiley, it's Webb Simpson week." You're goddamn right it is.
He has a house on the golf course. Did you know that?
Yeah, I know. He's always played well here at Quail Hollow.
Yeah, he's a Quail Hollow guy.
So last week, quickly, you get Pendrith with the win. Ben Coles just shut down. I didn't even watch it, but you knew it was going to happen. You get 180 live with Pendrith in the fairway, 325, and Coles in the rough. I'm like, let's smash this. I wasn't even watching. I was just trusting Shot Tracker, and good for him. Good for the Canadian, right?
Slam play. I was on a plane. So I didn't get to watch the tournament either, but I was sweating. This $100 single entry contest just has been like the absolute nuts for me all year. I've been so close. I finished top 10 in that contest 4 times already this year. I'm so freaking close. But Pendrith was, we were big on Pendrith, just like we were big on guys like Jaeger and Benny On, because this is a golf, and Mitchell for that matter, who were all solid. I mean, the reason why I was able to have a good week was mainly Pendrith and Benny On, but it's not a golf course that provides a lot of pushback for these players from tee to green, right? So you look at somebody like Pendrith, where he just drives the ball a mile and has the ability to get hot with his putter. And that's absolutely what happened. I mean, he barely gained strokes on approach, but it was a great week to not watch golf. I'm glad the wedding was scheduled on this week, because I don't find TPC Craig Ranch to be a particularly compelling golf course. But Quail Hollow, on the other hand, is a market
much different.
Yeah.
Much different. And so you cannot get away with bad approaches this week, my friend, as you know. No, Andy's article's up on Rumpier Sports. Join us today. You can read his article as a member of the Discord and the site, and it's an excellent article. I was just going through it. Yeah, I think that the pricing and the field in this no-cut event is really interesting because unlike, I'm kind of done with the Texas swing. Thankfully, now you get to North Carolina. You get to Webb Simpson's backyard, wink, and you get to play the big boys because it's that type of course and that type of week. First instinct in my head was feels like a Torrey Pines-ish, and then I saw your article and that validated it somewhat. But what say you? I mean, we've got 7,500 plus yards and a par 71 with 3 par 5s. That's big boy ballpark, and it's a long approach type week. You have previous winners like Homa, world class, Jason Day at the time, Rory, everyone loves him. Brian Harmon won, but it was at
different golf course. Yeah,
it was the Masters of North Carolina. It was the Augusta National of North Carolina.
Eagle Point.
Point. Yeah, that course was amazing.
Yeah.
But what say you this week? Wyndham Clark last year winner minus 19. I think he had about 22 birdies and an eagle. He smashed it.
Yeah. Yeah. So you said it well. I think that this falls into the category like a golf course like Torrey Pines, a lot like a golf course that we saw a couple weeks ago in Houston, where there's a low missed fairway penalty, but it's really long, right? So when you have a low missed fairway penalty, but a really long golf course, that means guys are going to hit driver everywhere. They're going to have a bunch of long irons. And that's kind of the nature of this golf course, right? Is it's driver heavy, long irons, hopefully get hot on the greens. And, you see the type of winners here, and there is a strong commonality between all of them. What does Rory McIlroy do well? He is one of the longest drivers of the ball in the field, a great long iron player
in history.
But he can get a little shaky with the accuracy. Same kind of profile for Wyndham Clark, right? It's like these guys both play well at bigger ballparks like LACC, like Quail Hollow, right? Justin Thomas even has, and Max Homa to a certain extent as well. Jason Day is another winner here too. Like all those guys hit the ball a mile off the tee. JT, when he won the PGA Championship here in 2017, I know he doesn't get thought of as like a big bomber anymore because a couple of guys have passed him in the distance rankings. Yeah. But that was a lot of his profile too, was like hits the ball a really long way, not super accurate, but a great long iron player.
Who's this?
JT,
yeah. Right.
So, I think this week it's a fairly straightforward handicap. There's no Scheffler in the field, which is fun in my opinion. Like I think
because Scheffler, he'd win going away this week.
Right. So it feels there's that like bit of possibility in the air this week where it's like we can get on here and make a case for why these guys in the 8s can win, because you don't feel like you have that boogeyman at the top of the board. So I'm excited to break it all down.
I don't think you're going to get a triple digit winner, mind you.
Me neither.
I think that the pricing is good for the top 4 players, and I think they'll all be owned, and I think they should be owned.
Yeah.
And we can go right into that. Did I have anything else I wanted to say? Oh, speaking of betting, you've got Myrtle Beach, secondary event on the tour with some okay names. I mean, you've got EVR types. You've got Ryan Fox, Bo Hostler's there, Sammy Valmaki, that's Keith's guy. So there's an opportunity here. If you believe a Rory or a Xander or a Ludwig, yes, it's going to win this week. You've got an opportunity to double your bet or parlay it with the Myrtle. And then even, I think Nelly Cord is playing too, right? She's almost,
I believe so.
Yeah, she's almost a free square. So there's a lot of interesting things we can do this week. Let's pull up SaberSim actually as we go, so we can go through pricing just like this. Okay. All right, let's look at this. So you've got at the top, you've got 10K plus. Let me see. Is this where we? Oh wait, I gotta change the brand here. One moment, please. I caught that quick. So the top, you've got Rory, Schauffele, Clark, and Aubert, 10K plus. In my gut instinct is that probably Rory or Aubert come out on top, maybe lean Aubert, but all four of these guys are going to get smoked. Rory winning the Zurich doesn't help his ownership at all. Lower ownership at all. He's going to get plus his past win here. He's going to get some owned. To me, I would say you could probably do safely a min one rule of one of these four guys. I think if it's a Torrey Pines comp, Schauffele plays big courses well. He plays par fives well. Wyndham Clark's won here. Aubert play every week. And Rory, does he find some form? So you could probably do a min one rule here of those guys in a no-cut event. What say you? Top four there.
Well,
and then tell me about what you think about ownership projection.
Yeah, I gotta say, I'm really surprised that Xander is $1,000 more expensive than Wyndham Clark and $1,200 more expensive than Ludwig. That feels off to me. And I think as a result of that, Ludwig is going to be the highest owned player on the slate. There are a lot of people that think that Ludwig is just better at golf right now than Rory McIlroy in general. And they may be right. So the fact that you can get Ludwig for $1,500 cheaper than Rory, I mean, I've been pushing back at like the Rory always gets ownership. Rory has a cult following thing all year. It just hasn't been reflected in the ownership numbers. There's like multiple instances this year of Rory being sub 10%. And I cannot remember. It has not happened all season where Rory is like the highest owned player on the slate. He's more now the butt of jokes than he is like a wagon in people's opinions. Even when he wins the Zurich, he's the butt of jokes because it's a team event, and rightfully so, right? It's like win a major, dude. Who else cares about anything else?
Except I think the Zurich eliminates a lot of that negativity.
Yeah, because he was singing on stage after, for sure. But I genuinely believe if you're asking me to rank them in terms of ownership, Xander is the most likely squeeze candidate, because what person is sitting here and saying that a guy who many already believe to be a gutless loser, who gutless loser this tournament last year, who on earth is making a sound argument that, unless you're like a crazy person like me who just looks at strokes gained all day, that Xander should be $1,000 more expensive than defending champion Wyndham Clark, who's also finished top 5 in 3 other elevated events, and Ludwig Aubert, who almost won the Masters, right? Who is saying Xander should be $1K more expensive than them? So if I had to guess, Ludwig, highest owned player on the slate. I've already seen a lot of
26% Ludwig, 23 Rory, Xander probably 19. Wyndham,
I'd go bigger gaps. I'd go like 28 to 30 Ludwig, 23 to 25 Rory, maybe less. People overestimate Rory's ownership too much. Wyndham in that zone. Like, I like Wyndham a lot this week. What's not to like about Wyndham this week? And then I think Xander's maybe the 15, for example, Wiley, these top high priced guys that have questions around their game. Spieth, all of the projection sites projected Spieth at like low 20s last week, and he came in 15. So I don't know.
I see people actually betting Spieth this week, and I think they've lost their mind.
Really? Yeah. I don't know how you'd. I love a good buy low, but let me ask you this question, Wiley.
There's no buy low for Spieth. You've got world-class golfers in the 7s, and Spieth's still mid-8s.
Right. Would you rather bet Jordan Spieth this week or Victor Hovland?
Is there another option? Is there a third option? Drink myself to death?
I like Hovland this week, but I understand. Yeah, I understand the sentiment.
No, I'd probably do Hovland. But okay, so I think we're in agreement here. Ludwig at this point, until he proves us otherwise, is almost a Scheffler-esque free square, and especially on a long course like this, in a no-cut event. So I think where it's overall going to get squeezed on price, because you can do a double stud high price lineup that's pretty good, actually really good in a hand build. So I think people could play two of those 10K plus guys very easily and have a very good lineup. So what squeezes out? Well, there you go. I like Tommy Fleetwood sneaky this week, but I like Tommy Fleetwood at 8,100, not 9,500 Tommy Fleetwood. Cantlay is interesting if you want to play off those top guys. Homa Morikawa, again, just like the Masters when they were 5% owned. I think you're going to get value on those two, and I don't think they're bad plays, because you're like you said, the Hovland steam will pick up, and I think he'll draw a lot of ownership in that 9K range. But I think there's some good prices here. Cantlay, Homa, Morikawa are safe picks in a tough course, long course, and no cut events. Look at Homa. He won Torrey Pines, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or did I make
and
that
he
up?
won here. He won here.
He won twice. Oh no, he won once here, but a top 10 last year. Yeah, correct. Exactly. I mean, as soon as you say Quail Hollow to me, I think Max Homa.
Yeah.
So, and it doesn't mean you have to exclude the top price guys, because I'll show you why, and you know why. There's a few players down in the low sixes that make everything work.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, and I think you're right about the build. So I think there will be lineups, particularly with the no-cut nature. We saw this a little bit at the Heritage when Scotty Scheffler was so expensive, but because there was no cut, a lot of people were willing to take a chance with Scheffler and still be able to build pretty comfortably, because you feel okay jamming in some low to mid six guys, knowing that you're guaranteed all 4 rounds with them, unless they're, Sung JM, I suppose. So I think
we still have a top 55 cut, right? Or
no cut. No cut.
Okay.
70 players in the field, no cut. So, like, for example, if you build, who was the low 6 guy that you feel like is the most mispriced? Nick Taylor, 62, maybe. Ghost Jam threw that out.
I think Stoneman, Nick Dunlap, big hitter, is real interesting to me. Plus, he played decent last week.
Yeah. So let's just throw Dunlap in there for argument's sake. Rory Ludwig Dunlap leaves you 3 spots with 7.4 or 7.3 to play with,
and no problemo. That's right.
Yeah, no problem at all there. So, I mean, I think as you mentioned, there's going to be some leverageable opportunities in the 9s. I don't think many people are going to play Morikawa on this golf course. I kind of agree with that. I'm not a huge Morikawa fan this week. And then the guy I want to ask you about is Sahith, because I really like Sahith this week. So where are you at on Sahith?
I think he shaved his beard. I think.
Okay.
Which is a strike against, and that should be in your article. It should be beard shaving. But I think just the overall sense for me is that Sahith, starting with the Masters and perhaps even the week prior, my memory's foggy, but I know the Masters and then it was the Heritage, that he let a lot of people down. And there's just that. There is the attitude of what have you done for me lately? And the lately is literally 7 days ago or literally a day ago. And that is enough for people to say, until you show me otherwise, I'm out. Because the guy that you never have to show anything for is $200, $300 cheaper than him. And I can already sense the momentum on him in Twitter and in social media, is Cameron Young. That's that. I know. He's shown us nothing, but he's the big driver guy. They're going to see 7,500 yards, par 71, 3 par 5s. And, he's going to get some attention. And Hideki may too.
what's the argument for Cameron Young over Justin Thomas? Like, Justin Thomas has been amazing at this golf course. He won a PGA championship here. Justin Thomas is playing better than Cameron Young.
Yeah.
Justin Thomas is a better iron player. He helped win me a lot of money at the Heritage with a 5th when everyone thought he was broken. Cameron Young couldn't even crack the top 50 at the Heritage. And Justin Thomas is playing better and has better course history and has won 15 times on the PGA Tour and 2 majors, including at Quail Hollow. So I need somebody to tell me who's playing Cameron Young at 88 over Justin Thomas. Why? Like, what is the best argument?
You saw the big stat on Justin Thomas this week, and I think someone posted our Discord, right? Didn't you see that?
Was it a Saul stat?
No. Yeah, I mean, the stat is he sucks. That's it.
Yeah, until
there's so much. Describe the trouble on this course. There's a lot of water here. There's a lot of ways for Justin Thomas to eject. What did he do last year? Top 14th. Fine. 15th. He was in better form. 15th.
Yeah. And he won me, he helped win me a ton of money at the Heritage when everyone thought he sucked. The point is like, here's what's going to happen. Every single week, there's going to be uncomfortable clicks. Okay. And Justin Thomas was a really uncomfortable click at the Heritage. Like, you feel a lot better clicking Justin Thomas this week, coming off a 5th at the Heritage, than you do clicking Justin Thomas at the Heritage when he was coming off a brutal miscut at the Masters, when he was like +7 through his last 4 holes. Yeah, you do need the driver here, but you don't need to hit the driver straight at all here, Andrew Chief. Listen, I'm just saying the guys with the uncomfortable clicks are the guys winning every week.
Who's his caddy this week?
JT may not. It's the Matt Minister guy.
The Matt Minister. Okay.
Yeah, I agree, Andrew. Low miss fairway penalty. I'm cool with it. I'm cool with it.
But I think we're done with the 9s. And do you agree that the ownership's going to be a little spread out and low here in the 9s? Cameron Young, I think it's going to get some steam. Matt Fitzpatrick, or heard a couple people in Discord talk about him. But the Jordan Spieth 8,400 price is,
yeah,
it's the.
I'm just still hung up on these JT haters. Like, they hate
JT.
He's massive. Like, I'm sorry you didn't play him at the Heritage. Like, it worked.
I tell you what, though, I will tell you what. If JT performs well this week, I say if he has a top 10, and is chasing the lead late, think about Valhalla next week back home for the PGA Championship.
Louisville guy. Louisville guy.
Yeah. You want JT to not do well this week, so his price is suppressed for the PGA Championship, because otherwise,
it's a good point, and I think that's a reason to, like, I think Hovland at Valhalla is a perfect golf course for him. If Hovland is Hovland, then Valhalla is a perfect golf course for him. It's like Muirfield.
You said
Village
that for a while.
I've said it since December. So,
I said January, but that's okay.
Here's what I would say is, if you like Hovland at Valhalla, just like I do, then you should play him this week, which was the same reason why I slammed Rory at Valero, because I knew I was going to play him at the Masters. Because if you play him this week and he plays well, then you're going to benefit off of it. You're going to profit off it, and we're in next week. So you're going to have an easier time swallowing the price hike. Right. And if he plays poorly this week, well, then you're already going to play him next week and you're going to get the lower ownership even more so. So I'm playing Hovland this week. JT's a good Thursday, Friday golfer, because that's all I say. Clay, I guarantee you play Saturday, Sunday this week. I'm willing to make that bet.
Well, last week was so pitiful for me. Who didn't play Saturday or Sunday or Thursday? Sung Jae.
I played him
that
too.
was one. Yeah. And then Taylor Montgomery just decided not to play professional golf anymore and left. And that was my single entry.
Right?
Huh?
Yeah. CT Pan too.
But I own it. Listen, it was Derby week. We were too busy handicapping Derby winners, which we did. So I took my eye off the ball on golf. But we're back.
Did you go to the Derby?
No, DraftKings gave me tickets, Flex. That's one for me.
Catch up.
Actually, wonderful tickets, both Oaks and Derby, but we're dealing with some stuff right now, so it's impossible for me to make it. But I appreciate Dan L for hooking me up.
Sweet. You were saying before I got distracted by the JT haters.
I forget what I was going to say. Oh yeah, M gone, Taylor Montgomery gone, never again. But you get down to, Alex Noren, another good week last week. You want a long course player, par 5 player, Torrey Pines success player. I think that a lot of people are going to play Ben on. I already see Ben on winner, Ben on this, Ben on that. I don't. Russell Henley consistently burns me. Noren, I'm always scared to play. I'll never play Ben on. I'll play some Ben on, but not heavy Ben on. Not what ownership he's going to get. But I saw a little tidbit from your article of Tony Finau.
Yeah, that's the guy.
Let everybody
lose their mind over buying Benny on at the top of the market.
18% Ben on.
Yeah, there's some great buy low candidates in this range. Like, if you think about what type of golf course that Tony Finau should play well at, it's this. He's got some leeway off the tee. Like, why did Tony Finau play so well at Memorial Park? Okay, well, it's the same agronomy as this golf course. You can bomb away with driver. There's negligible rough, and it's all about your long iron play, right? So the exact same deal here. Zalatoris, Corey Connors, Tony Finau, Sung J.M., Flop Lag. Like, there's such good buy low candidates here.
This range and why this Spieth number surprises me so much, and some prices above, like a Fleetwood. You got Sam Burns, 2,000 cheaper than Fleetwood almost.
Yeah, I forgot about him. I feel like this is
insane. The it's insane that he's 7,700. If you want the thing that gets him in trouble is his driver sometimes. You got M, if you believe in the illness part, coming off a win in Korea. Illness. The Willsy people will still be there. But you got sub 8 Zalatoris, you got sub 8 M, and you got 7,700, which is also sub 8 in many countries, Sam Burns. That is crazy talk.
Also, I think Bhatia is going to get a lot of steam, and justifiably so.
Yes.
I think he's underpriced.
And he's a cut below. That was on my list. Bhatia.
Yeah.
Yes.
And by the way, like, you want to talk about a perfect golf course for Stefan Jaeger? I mean, he was popular last week and didn't really let people down. He finished top 20. Where's Jaeger played well? Memorial Park, Torrey Pines. Where do you want to play Jaeger? On these driver heavy long iron golf courses. Okay. So why is Jaeger 7.5? So there's some
Harris English in here. Tough courses. Harris English just shows up.
Yeah. That's a good point, Andrew Chief, because I was gearing up to slam Burns at 7.7, but he may have just had a child.
Sam Burns kid. Sam Burns child? Oh, I don't think he has.
We'll have to get Natalie on that, or somebody that is more clued into Instagram, because
who's our pregnancy lead? Who's the director of pregnancy at RPS? Put in the comment section. You can win.
We're hiring.
Win the role.
Do you think Scheffler not playing this week means the kid already came or hasn't come yet?
I mean,
would we know?
He should be playing. He should be playing. I mean, it's an elevated event, no cut, Quail Hollow, a lot of money, and something that he destroyed this course.
You know, it's wild to me, and you're far more of an expert on pregnancies and childbearing. I have zero experience in that field.
I have 13 kids.
Why did you and Tony Finau? Why did everybody make a big deal about Scheffler, about Meredith's pregnancy at the Masters when she was due at the end of April, beginning of May, and the first child usually comes late? Don't you actually think it's more likely that the kid comes during PGA week? Like, what if the kid's late because now the PGA starts in 10 days. So he's got, I mean, he's literally, if the child doesn't come in the next 10 days, now you're running the whole narrative cycle about, is Scotty going to withdraw from Valhalla if the kid hasn't come yet?
I think I concluded that a lot of these golf people don't know how the gestation period works. Perhaps not a uterus, how it works, or even a vagina. And that's what I concluded.
That's got to be our clip for this.
And that was the advantage we could lever during the Masters. Where baby come out? I don't know, Ghost Jammed. No, so I think that more research should be done on Sam Burns because he was pretty close.
Yeah.
He was closer than Scheffler. I'd be surprised if it didn't happen already. So
right. So that's basically the detective work.
That's the work that needs to be done. And perhaps that's why the betting market opened lower on him, a higher price. Why did I just catch a stray? You were the first name I could think of.
Absolute drive by.
Do you know that Ghost Jam lives in a gated community in Florida? That he has an iron gate on his lot, on his driveway or whatever, and it has the name Wiley embossed in it. That's not a joke. He sent me a picture of it. The iron gate to his house says Wiley. So,
I didn't even know Ghost Jam was a Florida guy.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyway,
oh Lord, I just outed Ghost Jam. I'm sorry. You should be at work right now.
Low sevens.
We'll it's not live. Don't worry, we're not live yet.
Is there? Oh, remember that. Is there anyone you want to talk about down here in the low sevens?
Yes, I do. Okay. Well, Harris English, I mentioned. The interesting thing is what happens to Taylor Pendrith, right? Again, it's week to week. What have you done for me lately? And Pendrith did something for us lately, right? He got that off his back. He had a win. He is a big hitter. I still think people play him. I think the casuals see that Pendrith won last week. And I don't necessarily think that's bad value. I mean, we have seen players like a Knapp win. Historically, it's been win, forget it. You got media attention, you're tired, you're gone. But there has been a second week success rate. Now, it does drop off a little bit because it finally sets in.
Wiley, Pavone finished top 3 at Pebble Beach the week after winning Torrey Pines.
I think Jaeger did too. Exactly. Yeah. And now then there's a significant drop off when it all catches up to them. But I think Pendrith can sort of ride this. He hasn't had a chance to sort of go back, see family or whatever, I would imagine, and let it digest. So, if you're a Pendrith guy, 7,400 coming off a win, and he's a big hitter, is not a bad thing. So I don't know what you think down here, but you're going to say Sepp Straka.
No, I wasn't. I was going to say, what about our guy Billy?
Billy Ho.
He just won at Corrales, which is a big driver heavy golf course. And, it doesn't feel like on the surface a Billy Horschel course, but he's a momentum guy. Like he generally either he's really, really bad, like he went through that terrible stretch last year, or when he gets going, he can usually sustain it for a couple of weeks. Like you remember that year where, he won, I think, back-to-back in the FedEx Cup playoffs on bigger golf courses. And there is an element where putting is important here. These are pretty tough, big greens. Like I'm looking at Bermuda putting on fast greens, lag putting. I like Billy at 7.2 is my favorite. And then do you think people go back to Hoagie and Shank? Hoagie was kind of disappointing chalk last week. I think T41.
Yeah.
And Shank was pretty popular and played well.
Yeah, I think Hoagie was at the Dallas Stars game on Wednesday night late.
Really?
He posted an Instagram post that he was at the game and he had an early tee time and he came out a little slow. So I think Hoagie likes to get after it a little bit. Nothing wrong with that. Mm-hmm. But you're right. I mean, think about, putting here. You think about the length and the iron play, but the success here are Schauffele, putter, Clark, putter, Homa. Statistically, I think he's one of the top 5 putters on tour still this year. Fleetwood putter. Justin Thomas when he could putt. Jason Day, one of the best, perhaps ever. So I think you're right. I don't think you should just. I think it's something you're going to have to consider this week if you're playing the big boy bombers. And I forget who you were talking about in this context, but Hoagie, right?
Yeah, just
or Horschel, Billy Horschel.
Billy Horschel, yeah.
Doesn't
fit neither Horschel or Hoagie fit the bomber narrative, so they're going to have to get it done a little bit of a different way, which is which is possible. Brendan Todd finished top 10 here last year.
Yeah.
So did Denny McCarthy. So it can be done. But Pendrith and Jaeger will have a little bit more of a built-in advantage because of their power off the tee.
Down here, I think that you're going to see people love Kitayama.
I love Kitayama this week.
I knew
is he going to be chalky?
He will be. He will be because, people with influence like you like him. And I think there's just a general consensus that he, he's a good player and he's sub 7K.
Good on long golf courses.
Good on long golf courses.
Great driver of the ball. Great long iron player. He's won at Bay Hill. Yeah, makes sense.
And I don't think it's a bad play. And I don't think Lucas Glover. I think you might like him too. Always. A couple missed cuts here, so that's something you need to consider. But I'm not. I can't. Hughes was a miss last week for me. He played okay, but not certainly nothing to what was needed. Nothing really excites me here. The Canadians, Habit and Hughes, no. Rose, no. Taylor Moore.
Yeah, what about T Moore? I could see that. I mean, he hits the ball a mile off the tee. And Red State was North Carolina's.
I think he's kind of a RPS Golf Discord darling.
We love T Moore.
We love T
Moore. We've always loved T Moore.
High T Moore, low T Montgomery. That's just how it's going to roll forever.
And then what about my guy Keegan? Just never.
I'm a never Keegan type guy. I never.
Yeah, I'll take a big L on Keegan at the Heritage. I liked him at the Heritage, and that didn't work out.
However, Keegan's the type, like a JT Poston, that come Thursday morning, he's -8 through 10 holes, and you're chasing Keegan all week. So Fowler, no, but I maybe a little piece of Keegan builds. But for me, when you're doing the hand builds with the two 10K plus guys, plus some mid-range 7s and even a 9, really the range that you're going to need to draw from is lower. Now, I want you to tell me the names that stand out. I'll see if we reconcile here. I'll go from right there, Eckroat down to Dunlap. What names stood out first to you?
Two guys. They're both on the higher end of that, but Eckroat's just good. I just think that I don't think this is the perfect golf course for Eckroat, but I just don't think he should be a 6,600 golfer. I think he's too good. His irons have been electric. They've regressed a little bit the last couple of weeks, but the driver kind of came back for him in full force in his last start, and he has the ability to get pretty hot on the greens. His win this year came on Bermuda. So Eckroat, and then a bit of a good flop lag opportunity. And, Pavone was like way over owned at Heritage. That was disgusting. Yeah. And all those people are going to hop off and the sharp play is on him this week, in my opinion. Pavone won at a golf course like Torrey Pines, right? Pavone is a really damn good long iron player, and he has the ability to spike with his putter. I mean, we're talking about a guy that won Torrey Pines this year and finished 12th at the Masters. If you could do that on those golf courses, you can certainly contend at Quail Hollow. So 6.6 on Pavone coming off a donkey chalk week at Heritage is right up my alley.
Cameron Davis was the other one too.
Yeah, same profile. He played well in the President's Cup here, I believe. Same with Pendrith. So at least he's got that experience. And then you could just electrocute me. But I'm probably in the same category as needing serious brain surgery for suggesting Gary Woodland, but I like this golf course for him. He's played well here.
Yeah, Jake Knapp, good week last week.
Yep.
Pretty good price, but I wouldn't go super heavy on any of these guys. Even a Dunlap, you can play. You can play a 6K Dunlap, and I think be pretty safe. But 4 or 5 or even 6 of these guys in this range, without too much exposure, and you don't have to do much to be over the field on them, gives you a lot of options upstairs with some of the higher price studs that will likely win.
Yeah. And I think I think 1 or 2 of these guys will finish top 15. I really do. I think there's some potential down here. Nick Taylor's just a good player. Nick Taylor,
good putter.
Yeah, Nick Taylor could finish top 15 every week, and I really like Pavone and Ekro now. The more that I talk myself into it and talk it out with you.
Yep. Brendan Todd's top 8 here. Well, he's got 2 top 20s and a top 10. Interesting.
Doesn't make a lot of sense, but like he finished top 5 at the Arnold Palmer Invitational, which doesn't make any sense either. So
he's point A to point B golf. He stays out of trouble, hits fairways, and he can putt lights out.
Yeah. It's not really the bomber profile.
I don't know if I can do it. I don't know.
I don't think so.
Not really the bomber profile.
It's like the shortest player on tour, I think, these days.
I wanted to show this. I said this in RPS Discord before the Derby, and I added it for my Derby show. A lot of people don't like horse racing, so they don't see the show. But I spontaneously said, for you Bourbon people, we're getting this as a potential real sponsor for Run Pure Sports, but I really want to give something away to our group. And there's going to be a special code for our group I'm going to put in the announcements that you can use. But go to their website, Never Say Die Bourbon, right? You Bourbon people, we're in the heart of it here in Lexington, Kentucky. You can't find a lot of this stuff around the country, and you can't even find it here, but it's the Bourbon du jour. It's extremely well rated. It's award winning. And this is the 91st bottle ever made. But it's Never Say Die. A friend of mine started it here in Lexington. They want to sponsor the show. And if you go to their website, neversaydieBourbon.com, I believe, neversaydieBourbon.com, sign up for their newsletter, and then in the comments put RPS, then one of you is going to win this bottle or a bottle like it, signed by the distiller, which I don't care if you drink bourbon or not. I don't care if you drink or not. That's worth.
It's just a good house item.
It's a ton of. It's worth a lot of money.
Is it really? It's a high price point bourbon.
I think aftermarket. If you're buying it online right now, I think this is a $300 bottle.
Oh wow. Okay.
You won't find it. You won't find a sip of it in Lexington at very many places. Signed, low number. I mean, you're talking potentially for you Bourbon people, eventually close to $1,000 because it's really catching steam. So go to their website, neversaydieBourbon.com, put your name and shit in there and put RPS, and then we'll know it's you or you watch the show, and one of you is going to win a bottle. That's that.
That's awesome.
That's a real ad read.
You big whiskey drinker yourself?
No.
Yeah.
No. If you want me to be in prison, I'm great at it. No, but I have tried that. I mean, it's a really good new bourbon. It's really good. It's really highly. You can just Google it. I mean, they've won a ton of awards. There you go.
Awesome.
Happy, never say die. Yeah, there you go. That's awesome. And then I'll give a separate double entry for RPS members only in our Discord. All right, who's our winner?
I'm gonna go with Sahith.
I did not expect that to come out of your mouth.
Yeah. The 3 guys that I really like that I've mentioned and talked a little bit about on the show are 3 kind of middle tier, not top of the board guys that I just think have a lot of value in JT, Tony Finau, and Sahith. Those are the 3 bets I've made. And I think I'm the most confident with Sahith because he's playing phenomenal golf right now. He just finished second at the Heritage. let a lot of people down in a team event with Will Zalatoris at the Zurich, but he's really elevated his play with the driver. Even if the driver gets a little loose, that's manageable on this golf course. He's developed into a great iron player, and he always has the spike ability with the putter, and it just feels like a level up time for Sahith. I mean, he's won one time in the fall swing, which I was on for flex that at Fortinet 25-1. I think he's ready for this. Feels like a natural stepping stone for him.
That's a bold call. I don't think he gets ownership. I think he's very low owned.
Yeah.
I'm going to be a little more chalky, only because I think he's one of the best golfers in the world.
Ludwig.
And you got it.
Yeah.
I think it's smash week, Ludwig. I think Homa plays really well. What's that?
Hard to argue with. Yeah.
Yeah. It's there's really, I mean, Wyndham Clark has been kind of a free square too. And there's, but Ludwig is this week's free square when Scheffler's not there. So, yeah, I think Ludwig has a very big week. And that's all I got to say about that.
The problem with Ludwig too is like if you're trying to poke holes in Ludwig, Quail Hollow actually has pretty sticky course history. Like course history matters at Quail Hollow.
Sure.
It's tough to win for first timers.
Yep.
But when Ludwig finishes runner up at the Masters, which has the stickiest course history by like an exponential margin, what do you even say anymore? Like
doesn't matter.
You can't even really downgrade him in the numbers. So
no, it is a matter of time before Ludwig gets his green jacket. It's not an if, it's a when, and when's probably pretty soon.
Do you think he has do you think he has a really decent chance to win at Valhalla?
Yes. I think he went anywhere.
Yeah.
On any type of course. I mean,
I do too. Yeah.
He had success at Pebble Beach.
Mm-hmm.
He had success at the Masters
RSM Classic. Yeah.
RSM Classic. He's got the game. He's got game for years. And then you go to Valhalla, that big ballpark. I think he's a favorite. I mean, can you imagine if he wins this week?
Yeah. I mean, he's already at I think he's the third or fourth favorite to win the PGA. I mean, I would not be shocked if at week's end, particularly if he plays well this week, if Ludwig goes off lower than Rahm at Valhalla. Could you imagine that?
I could after the Masters performance for Rahm. I could.
Yeah. No.
I don't think it changes Scheffler's number. I think he's still 450? Is he 450 at this point?
Yeah, I think so. I think Scheffler's 450.
A 13K golfer again?
I think so, but it's fun because there'll be a little healthy dose of skepticism on Scheffler with the baby. So, so it's not Scheffler was like such a slam dunk at the Masters where if you were making an argument against Scheffler at the Masters, you were just playing devil's advocate, right? I think there are more anti-Scheffler arguments this week than there were, or at Valhalla than there were at the Masters. So
yes, I mean, even having a week or two
Scheffler ownership,
even having a week or two off Scheffler, which is enough in golf DFS.
Yeah,
you have a little bit of percentage momentum down.
Yeah, I'll be back this. I could come back. I've been been
off. Ball knowers for life. What are they called? Ball knowers after dark.
Ball knowers after dark. I've been traveling a lot. I was traveling.
Boners after dark. We don't want that show.
Who could say? But I can come back for that this week if you need me.
Let's do it.
Cool.
Thanks. See you, man. God bless.